Hello, hello. Welcome to the No Onions podcast, where we talk to creatives and filmmakers and comedians about the unpopular opinion about popular productions. Today, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. I'm your host, CoreyJon. I have some very important guests with me today, and we're going to talk about something that everybody's talking about, which is the roast of Kevin Hart that took place on Mother's Day weekend and has been receiving a lot of backlash regarding the nature of racism in the jokes and just crossing the line in general, really, with comedy. So I got some comedians here. I got none other than Mr. Poetre, comedian and poet extraordinary. I got Miss Lekisha McCullough. Uh, Also a comedian. Also got none other than Pudgee, who is also a comedian, and then we got Mr. Veronzo, who is a film producer as an actor and poet as well. So we got everybody coming together. You know, everybody here has to be on stage and has to make decisions about what they're going to put out and what they're not going to put out, and what matters to the audience, what doesn't matter to the audience, and stuff like that. So listen, we're just gonna jump right into it, man. So I guess the question kind of off the bat, right? Are there limits in comedy? Like just period. Like are there limits? Should there be limits? What are the limits? Like what's up? What y'all how y'all feel? But you was cheesing, so you can go first. What you about to say?
I mean, it's sort of yes and no. Like there's certain stuff that most people general understanding is you don't joke about, and then
Mhm.
there's other stuff that like supposed to be no holds bar. So it's I yes and no,
Well,
yes and no.
we can talk about. So, for instance, you have like a disability or whatnot. Like, so you can kind of speak to that directly, right? Like, is there a limit? Like, if you let's say you were having a roast for your birthday, is it off limits for people to talk about your, you know what I'm saying, your
I don't I
disability?
don't I don't feel like that. I feel like physical is part of it. If you disabled, then you disabled. If you're light skinned, what I mean, you're a light skinned one. It's just whatever your disability is. Mine just happened to be physical, but it, I'm not sensitive about it at all. I expect it actually. If somebody's going to roast me, I expect that to be the number one thing because it's the most obvious thing.
Okay. Well, and like anybody else, like just generally speaking, of course, right?
Well, for me, I think what got me with my mouth open and clutching my pearls is because the world done got so sensitive. Now, if it was back in the days, like back in the
Yeah.
'90s, and where we still had Def Comedy Jam and everything was hardcore, there was nothing off limit. I believe, the thing is, you be worried about you're gonna get canceled. Um,
Cancel culture.
because
Yeah.
everybody's so sensitive nowadays, and I enjoy them.
Hmm.
Especially the see Cheryl Underwood laugh at the when they made fun about her husband. You
Right.
know, um, after a while, it kind of be like, you gotta laugh from crying.
That's real.
So that one was a good joke. I mean, it was good. Now the Floyd joke, that was kind of hard to swallow. The George
Well,
Floyd joke.
so let's talk about that one, because that's the biggest one, right? That's the trending one. That's the one that everybody got something to say about. Like, was that too far? Now I'm gonna throw my opinion. No, I'm gonna wait for y'all to be honest. So what was it too far? Like, I mean,
Well,
I
I'm gonna
heard.
say like this. I did laugh, but I was like, ho, 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 shit. But I did
Um,
laugh. I clutched my pearls. Well, goddamn. When he said George
With the
Floyd is
laugh.
looking up, laughing so hard
Yeah.
he can't hardly breathe. Oh my God. That was
it's
why he gotta be looking up. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that was hard. That was hard, but I was whew.
I don't know.
it's
I feel.
not
I feel. Go
it's
ahead. Go
not
ahead.
that. If it's going to be, I'm sorry, if it's going to be no holds bar though, to that extent, they won't get up there and make Trump jokes hardcore like that. That would
There you
be out
go.
of bounds.
But
Yeah.
I think
So
they
there
did
is certain
though.
stuff that would be technically out of bounds. Like, okay, you saying that joke. For me, the joke that I didn't like was he was like they would hang him from a bonsai tree. Why would you be making a racist
Sorry.
joke about hanging black people?
Well, you know they
That's like
did.
that's the joke that you came up with. You could have did Heap Bypass for Ant-Man or any kind of other creative short joke, but you had to do a joke about. I don't agree with that.
Well, see, in the beginning, he did say that. That's why, Pudgee, going back to what I originally said before we got on tape, was that it just seemed like it was a great setup to be as racist as you most possibly can with who they had. I didn't like the host. I felt like they could have did a little bit better than that. I felt like there was too much of the unseasoned folks on the stage. We didn't need
Okay.
that many.
Okay. So okay, unseasoned meaning not black, right?
Yeah, too
Okay.
many
Now,
uncolored folks. Yeah,
Hey man,
now
for
just
me,
stick to the letters, man. YT, okay?
YT's on there.
Trey. So I know like you and I have had like a conversation about it. What's your? Because I feel like everybody kind of, which is kind of, I'm a little shocked that y'all have so much similar opinion on it. What's your stance on that joke in particular, the whole George Floyd?
It was like Lekisha said, why he got to be looking up. It was a going around my elbow to get to my ass way of being racist. Like what would he wasn't there for the roast. Why are you roasting him? And it's like I'm going to say something so heinous, and that's going to if it's more heinous than funny, it's not a joke.
Mm, that's a good point. I can feel that.
And
What you
it wasn't
yeah.
funny. Like it everything else, it wasn't even funny. Like that part of it wasn't even ha ha ha. So
Yeah.
I think that it's I think comedy is gonna have limits because we're humans and we have limits. Whether we agree with everyone's limits or not, we just have our own limits. But because Kevin on stage was okay with it, a comedy, unfortunately,
That
and fortunately,
man name is not Kevin on stage.
I'm
It's
sorry,
Kevin
dude.
Hart.
Kevin Hart. That's right. I don't know why I did that. All right, I was just talking about him. But Kevin Hart was okay with it. I think comedy, fortunately and unfortunately, gives people the opportunity to hijack that space to, like y'all, like the brother just said, like to be as racist as I can be without getting shot. Like let me go as far as this line is, but let me not step over. But when comedy doesn't have limits, it's a problem. I saw a clip earlier of one of them like pranks. It's a thing where this white dude was going around. He was at Walmart parking lot trying to agitate a black man, and then he was going to pull out his phone once that man got mad. It went left. It went so left, and dude like kind of pushed black dude. He slapped his phone out of his hand. Then the black guy went to his car. White guy followed him, smashed his window, and then of course he got beat up. And I don't like fight videos, but I watched it and I was very, 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 very proud of got beat up. But to my point, like there are limits, and when they are not like respected, it's a problem. That joke, that part of the joke, to me, was too far. As in, why we're having a convo about it, because George Floyd wasn't just like a random dude. The world responded. Kevin Hart made a video about it saying that Officer Chauvin needed to be locked up for life. And I forgot the dude's name who made the joke that fast, but
Tony
he's
Hinchcliffe.
he's kind of been on the edge already. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, that's his thing. That's
yeah,
his thing.
I
Like he
don't
does
I
shows. That's
don't I don't like purposely making your shtick to agitate a group of people on purpose to get a reaction because you think it's funny. That to me is no longer like just comedy. It's like now you just like you want to trigger people. Like it's more of a power move.
let me so I don't disagree, right? But I think one thing that I heard on the Breakfast Club this morning, I heard um Just Hilarious say that if it's funny, like as long as it's funny, it works. Like when it comes to comedy, when it comes to the comedy setting, roast, things of that nature. As long as it's funny, it works. And that's how some people feel. But I did hear her also say that during that part of the joke, like you said, Veronzo, during that part of the joke, the room was quiet.
Because it
So
wasn't
they
funny.
had to
Like the
like go
word
in.
choices were not funny. It just wasn't funny. Period.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, if
But
you're going to go to the topic, you have to be funnier than what you're doing.
yeah, I mean, I will say, I'm gonna say this at the sake of like taking everybody's fun away, right? Because I think that this is doing what it's supposed to do, right? Like, I think he is known to be controversial. He was put on this platform, and what happened as a result of him saying what he said and him being on the platform is more people went to go see the show, the roast. Got the views up, more people going to see it. He's done his job yet again because he's going viral. I researched him early. He's gone viral over and over. He said the thing about Puerto Rico being a traveling landfill. It had backlash on that. Like, it's just a thing that he does and he's known for. So people who are familiar with him weren't surprised. But I think what happened is we had an audience of people who said, "Oh, I mess with Kevin Hart. I like Kevin Hart. Let me watch this roast." And we got blindsided by this other guy who we're not familiar with. Um, and personally, I don't want to get canceled. I wasn't. I do feel like when I saw the joke, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he did that." Like, that's going to offend somebody. That's going to hurt somebody. That's not going to end well. But personally, I wasn't offended by it, if that makes sense. Because in my mind, I'm like, it's all those people there, all those people of color, even though it's a lot of that weren't, it's a lot of people of color that were there. And from what I found out, they practiced these jokes before the show multiple times. So he got mad passes. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody confronted him or stopped him from doing
Right.
that jokes, which brings me to my next point. So, like, who do y'all think carries the responsibility? Like, is it solely on Tony Hinchcliffe? Is it on Netflix? Is it on the writers? Is it on Kevin Hart?
I'm
Who's
I'm
to
gonna
be
tell you
held
right now.
responsible?
I'm gonna tell you right now. When I saw it, all I kept seeing was like racial shots.
It
It's
was a
like
lot.
they'll say something really racist and then try to follow it up with a joke. Like,
Mhm.
oh, the one with no matter what, how much money you give black people, they're still gonna whatever.
These
And I'm like,
ninjas. Yeah,
y'all making a lot of racist
fighting all
jokes,
the
but
time.
if we do the same thing, like they love to talk about black on black crime, but we don't say nothing about the Holocaust. Now that's a good joke because that's white on white crime right back. But they would say, "Oh, you're way out of line for saying that. That was such a serious event and all of that." It's a joke I use all the time.
But let me ask you that though: is that a factor? Or is that just how you feel? Like, have you ever seen that happen? Like, have you ever seen that play
What?
out where
No,
it's been a
I,
joke
I,
made about the Holocaust and it got backlash?
unless I think I saw a Jewish guy make a joke once about it, but
They
I've
don't.
never
You can't joke about that.
joke because but that's the thing, like because we're still human, and I believe inherently wherever you are in life, there's a moral line. Like if you don't agree that was monstrous, like one of the great crimes against humanity, something's wrong with you. Like because he'll make a George Floyd joke because he can't really make like a slavery joke about like anything about babies being fed to alligators. Trigger warning by the way, or any of those other things. And it's like I think I agree the world is way more sensitive. Like remember Kevin Hart couldn't host the Oscars, right? Because of a
Yeah,
so he made
because he
10
made a LGBT.
years
Yeah.
prior, right? So, and it's stupid to me. I wouldn't hold nobody for what they did 10 years ago, but our society will,
Yeah.
unless it's a joke about us, right? So
If it's about us, it
I think
flies.
everybody. I doubt Netflix actually listened to every single joke. I'm sure some of it was off the. I know they were. I saw some of the communication from like other roles. Like they rehearsed some things, but some of it is still like kind of off the dome or written in they haven't said it out loud yet. And then Kevin Hart made a video about this, and he was just like, "Yeah, okay, it's cool, whatever." Tom, whatever his name is, you did great. Bring the hard jokes, let them fly. I'm like, oh boy.
I have one question for y'all. I've seen a lot of roasts, but to me, did they not let this roast be like extra vulgar and ghetto? Like it didn't seem like they tried to lay it on extra thick to y'all. That's just me.
It didn't feel like, for me, it didn't feel like the regular host. I mean, the roast where, you know, it was too much off topic. Like they kept it off. Usually, I'm used to seeing the roasts where they talk about the people on the stage and lead it up to Kevin. You know, to me, it was a lot of more off topic. To me, it would seem very racist. It seemed very racist to me.
Yeah.
That's my.
I can see, like, I think it was very racially influenced, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, just keep it a grand. I watched it and I laughed probably 90% of the time.
I mean, it was
throughout the whole thing. And for me, it's like, I'm black. Whoever didn't notice, I'm somewhat on the lighter side, but I'm black. And as I was watching it, like, I heard the jokes on the line, but I also, for me, I heard, y'all gonna be mad. I heard, like, I felt the pullback too. Like I want to say this, but I'm not going to say it.
No, say it.
No, not me. I'm talking about during when they were doing the jokes. I heard them. Like, I felt like I heard them, you know, dance on the line, but I'm not gonna cross the line because I don't really feel that way. I'm just gonna joke about it because it's funny, but not because I really feel that way. Like, even with the joke, who brought it up? I think Pudgee, you brought it up with the ninjas always fighting. Like, I thought that was funny as heck to me, and and you know what I'm saying, but like, I understand the other side of it, like, and I can be naive too, you know. I'm the first to admit that.
It's just that there's so much other hilariously funny stuff that we could have been chopping on.
But the truth is, like, and let's think about it, like, right, because all you guys are comedians or have dabbled in it. You know, Veronzo, you host. The rest of y'all are like complete comedians. Let's think about it. If they didn't have, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? If they didn't have another subject or anything else to talk about, all they would have talked about was Kevin Hart and his movies.
But this is the
there's
thing,
no other.
like, when they did Flavor Flav, all the
That's a
jokes
lot
of
of
how black
material.
he was. When it's always when they do a black person, it's always black racist jokes. If
I
it's a
didn't see
white
Flavor Flav.
person, there's not white racist jokes. The thing when it was Kevin, it's like Kevin has, look how Cat did everything and it cut, but it wasn't racist against Kevin. It was still clever. Like, if somebody goes to a roast for Pudgee, 90% of that is going to be reductive because it's all it's going to talk about is him and the cane. And he's going to take somebody to come back. And when it comes to that roast, it was so much racism. Like Pudgee said, there's nothing else that you're talking about. And not only with him, with Kevin, the racism, but with Nikki Glacier, like, everything was, you're a whore. Not Nikki, Chelsea Handler. Yeah, it was like, she's a whore. And her and Cheryl Underwood, they came and they did their shit. Yeah, but it's like, you got to come with more stuff, especially when you coming after all these other people that's still doing. It's like, once somebody does the best joke about that topic, everything else after that is just going to be reductive.
Yeah, I ask a question.
Go ahead, Bud.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you was finished. Go ahead, please. No, I'm sorry.
I don't think it was more vulgar because I've seen a lot of Jeff Ross's roasts, and I've seen him in a lot of them, and that, you know, I think vulgarity to black people and vulgarity to white people, I think it's different. That's right. Like, they like I don't think we would ever make a movie like Sausage Party or like Superbad. And I mean the last part of Sausage Party because it was funny, and I was like, yeah, never mind, too far.
the whole thing.
I think
started was
also
crazy.
the roasts are on Netflix, so they're not edited like they were on Comedy Central.
So and that's
Okay.
good because
That's
to
true,
that
too.
point, I respect Netflix because they give more, I think, platform to freedom of speech. Because I can say the joke was one cringy. I can understand why it's cringy. I can understand why he said it. It wasn't funny on if I wasn't a black person and I just had the same like comedic critique I have now, the joke just wasn't funny. Like it wasn't clever. Like at all.
And I think that part is where I kind of disagree, right?
You
Like
laughed at it was funny.
So here's the thing. So I have this thing where like you can like I can hear a joke and say, oh, I can see how somebody would think that's funny, or oh, I can, but it may not necessarily make me laugh, right? So that joke in particular did not make me laugh, like that part of the joke. A lot of the other stuff he said didn't make me laugh, but that part didn't make me laugh. It was like, more like that, like the shock, right? But I do think it was clever. I cannot say that I did not think the way that he delivered that joke was not clever. I wish I had it right here, but he talked about making black people proud or whatever, and then making George Floyd turn over and look up and then laugh so hard he can't breathe. Like that's clever. Now, granted, it is offensive because of the whole campaign and what George Floyd went through and him not being able to breathe and that causing his death. 100% offensive, but it was clever. Just saying.
I don't think that was clever. I think that was just a racist shot at a black man that ain't had nothing to do with it. Like it's the roast of Kevin Hart.
I think you can offend people cleverly.
Yeah, I think it's not. Yeah. Okay, first of all, a roast is to offend the roastee.
Well, George
Floyd ain't got nothing to do with that. Yeah, black people being hanged ain't got nothing to do with that. Even that lady husband killing herself, man, that was so far out of line. Like, bro, that's the joke y'all wrote.
That's the
joke y'all wrote.
I don't
about her husband committing suicide.
He was there. She knew they were going to get the joke, so at least she was there. If she did, George Floyd family wasn't there. He's not here. Right. He shouldn't even be there. That shouldn't be. If I agree with that part. I can be on her side for that because she okayed that.
Yeah. Okay, if she okayed it, then she okayed it.
She knew about it. Yeah,
not knew about it. I said okayed it.
No, she.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They knew about it too. They had a whole.
He was saying, he was like, I asked her before, please, please don't be mad. So yeah.
All right, y'all. All right, so real quick, let me pause real quick. I'm going to introduce another comedian, another female comedian. Her name is Jazz, and I'm going to take her into the conversation. All right, real quick.
I'm gonna beat my bird chest.
What's up, Jazz? How you doing?
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
Hey,
we're chilling. So just to kind of get you up to where we at. So basically, right now we're kind of in the weeds of it all. We're talking about the whole exchange in the roast with Tony Hinchcliffe and if I'm saying his name right, I hope Hinchcliffe, maybe, I don't know. But and the joke he made about George Floyd. And whether or not it's funny, whether or not it crossed the line, whether or not it was just plain old racist. So that's where we are now in the conversation. So if you have something to say, you can go ahead and bring it up now. How do you feel about that part?
I feel like as a Black comedian who's seen a lot of like roast shows over the years, sometimes for comics who don't look like us, it's so easy for them to go straight to racism. Like they don't even try to do anything else. It's like your dad left. No, my dad's still here. Or you don't know this, or you don't. And it's just like, bro, you're being racist. Like you're not even being funny. When it comes to Kevin Hart, there are so many things you can talk about when it comes to him. He's a little guy. Like he's one-toned. Like the car accident, the infidelity with his wife. It's so many things. But I see it like people stepping over a puddle to go straight to racism. It's like, I'm going to skip all that, but let me just show you how I truly feel. And as far as George Floyd goes, what year was it that everything happened with George Floyd? 2020?
Yeah, I think it was 2020.
Yeah. We're in 2026. How long you been sitting on this joke? How long you been waiting on that? And even in the comedy world, a lot of stuff is, I'm not want to say it has timelines on it, but it does. Like if you go to a comedy show today and you hear people telling COVID jokes, you'll be like, that was years ago. Like, why are you telling COVID jokes? Not saying anything is above, but the same way Charlie Kirk was getting all sorts of like strays, no pun intended, but the way he was catching all sorts of strays and things, and the way that they ended up, like, Charlie Kirk happened less than a year ago.
So let me ask you this. So you feel like because Charlie Kirk did catch at least 2 or 3 strays in the roast.
One for sure.
So you feel like
Yeah, he got that one.
It was 2 at least. It was 2 at least. So you feel like that was okay because it was more recent?
So I think a lot of times with stuff like that, it comes from your personal, what do you feel? As a comedian, as a writer, I don't too much joke on the dead. I find like there's so much other things, other topics that I could talk about. Oh, was some of the stuff funny? Maybe a little giggle here and there, but even with the Charlie Kirk situation, it was more recent, and that wasn't everyone's. It didn't seem like everybody was going towards that as like, let me be racist. Let me be racist toward white people. Let me go at Charlie for being racist. And it's just like, it's not a good look. I'm not one who thinks that, dragging people while they dead. George Floyd wasn't even in the room. I don't understand the connection between George Floyd and Kevin Hart besides them being black.
But I think everybody here so far kind of agrees with that. I know Trey has mentioned it too, like just like he and Pudgee, like he wasn't there, so he shouldn't be brought up. But I think, I guess the bigger question is like, let me make sure I say this right. So freedom of speech, right? Let's talk about freedom of speech, right? So you're supposed to be able to say whatever you want to say without fear of being persecuted for what you say, right? Now, with Charlie Kirk, like, I'm not seeing that nowhere, right? Like nobody talking about that, right? But he did catch a couple of strays. There was one it was one George Floyd joke, and it has caused like massive, like, the whole community is like talking about it and tripping on it. Like, I mean, I'm again, I'm black. Is that not a Go ahead, bro. You can jump in.
Okay, so it's not even a comparison, because you talk about Charlie Kirk, but you don't remember how many people were losing their jobs, how many people were just getting the worst about even remotely saying they ain't like Charlie Kirk. Like, even like it wasn't freedom of speech to talk about that situation at all. There's a lot of people of every color who lost their whatever because it was like, that's off limits. And that went throughout every profession.
I do remember some stuff, like, I think revolving, I know Jimmy Kimmel had some like backlash somewhere regarding like that and how it tied into Trump at one point. But I didn't, as far as subject matter, I just feel like we're talking about like the same platform, right? Like, this is both of these topics and both of these sayings were both done on the roast. Like, somebody said something about Charlie Kirk, somebody said something about George Floyd. Both of these men died unjustly, right? However we want to look at it, right? And it should be sensitive to everybody, but it's definitely sensitive to their communities. So it does feel a little bit selective, outrageous, right? No,
it's not because we're mad at George Floyd. MAGA is mad at Charlie Kirk's joke. See, what we're talking amongst our peers, we're listening at our media, so we're mad about that. In their media, on Fox News, they're upset with Pete Davidson.
So both of them going on.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're asking about the double standard, and I think people outside of a thing or a person determine the value of that person sometimes, right? Like so the world responded to George Floyd. Like literally nations that ain't in America had George Floyd vigils, marches. His death was a springboard for injustice everywhere, right? So like he is his death, him and or his death to some, like it's like a national treasure. Like it is a sacred thing a bit, because it just represents a history of just unjust murdering by people with badges. Charlie Kirk incited riots and incited violence. Most people agree that he was, to your point, he didn't have balance, because I always ask people, name one time, I've offered money, name one critique Charlie Kirk gave to white people as a whole. Crickets, because there's none. His critique when he critiqued people was about Muslims and about black people often. So a lot of folk, and I don't agree with this, would say he deserved what he got, right? Because he was doing something, inciting people, belittling people like all the time, and the people. So it's not going to be. It's a false equivalence to me, because of that. He literally said verbatim, some gun violence death is okay. It's for us to keep the Second Amendment. Context, so based on what he said, he would have been okay with what happened to him because it helps people keep the Second Amendment. George Floyd, whatever you think about his life is irrelevant. The choice was the officer who is supposed to protect us. We don't know the random who shot Charlie Kirk, right? The officer represents a unit who's supposed to be unfunny and protect us and be there when we call and represent safety. And you sat there and had very optional, by the way. So it's like, that's why it's different.
I hear that, but it's still, there's still people who disagree. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's still, yeah, I'm just saying, but it's still like, I think the point is, the point is whether or not something is racist and whether or not it should have been or is okay. You know what I'm saying, for the form, you know, like for comedy, right? So, you know, we can get into the whole, you know, that stuff, right? But just kind of like keeping it within the realm of the roast of comedy and stuff like that. I don't, is it really, well, since Charlie Kirk said people might die, it's okay to make a joke about him. And
Can I?
like, go ahead.
So take out Charlie Kirk and take out George Floyd. As a black person, when it comes to jokes, and they're told by people who don't look at us, sometimes you have to decide, are they laughing with us or are they laughing at us? And I have been around so many things. It's like, oh, that wasn't even trying to be funny. That was just trying to be racist. I'm gonna give you two examples. Gary Owens. Majority everybody on here is familiar with Gary Owens and his style of comedy. Nobody leaves a Gary Owens show going, was he trying to be? Was he trying to be racist? Because those aren't the jokes he produces. You can go to another comedian, a Tony show, or Kill Tony, any of that stuff. That's very big. I just came back from Austin a couple weeks ago. The amount of white men who just wanted to say the N-word. No joke behind it, no punchline, no nothing. They just wanted to say it. One guy got up there, he was like, my grandfather used to be a grand wizard. Sir, what's funny about any of this? As a black girl, as a black woman, I want to laugh. Life is already hard enough. And I think people forget that people come to comedy as a form of escape from reality. Everybody is going through something. When we go listen to somebody tell jokes or watch somebody perform in that temporary time of space, like we want to escape whatever we're going to. I don't want to go to a show and it's like, oh yeah, we still hate black people in here too. And it's like, bro, I could have stayed at home for this.
So I'm glad you brought that up. A couple things. So first, I used to do murder mysteries, and I literally had a white patron leave a review, basically saying that when they, same thing you said, you know, when they come to comedy, come to shows, they want to escape and they don't want to, you know, feel like, because we had jokes that were about the difference between black and whites, right? And they felt offended, right? So I mean, I guess I just say, like, do you? I feel like comedy offends to a degree. You feel me? Like, and then I feel like now I don't agree. Let me say this real plainly because I feel like it's not like I'm advocating. I'm just providing a different opinion than everybody else here.
A roast about
but
a joke about being black and being white is not the same thing as a racist joke.
No. But still, yeah. But it's okay. So take my experience out. The Drewski thing that was really big, right? Now, can we agree that if it was a Jake Paul who joked about doing this in blackface, that would have been
He would got jumped probably.
yeah. So like
Oh, well.
but isn't it's I guess so. Is it safe to say that
It's
let me change it.
it's a double standard. Yeah. It is.
So should comedy and I understand I understand it in the like we our black people have been through some stuff as a people. You feel me? So I do feel like we have a little more leniency to do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I that's how I really feel to get away with some stuff that y'all can't get away with. You know, I do feel that way. But just in the realm of comedy, like just like I like cutting off all the fat, just comedy, just jokes, right? You mentioned comedy is supposed to like make you go away from stuff, but is it not also supposed to make you find the joy within stuff, like the laughter or the comedy within situations? And is comedy supposed to be comforting all the time, or can it challenge stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like how do y'all feel about that?
Being challenging and being offensive is two different things.
What's the guy name that got removed? Stephen Colbert that lost his gig? That's the guy? Okay. He's made black jokes or jokes that would be directed at black people before, but he was never threatened to be taken off the air. But he made a joke about that white man and what happened. So there are like it's just like, bro, everything's okay until the joke is about you. So if the joke is off limits for that level for you, then the joke is off limits for that level for me. Like I just like Jazz said, I don't joke about the dead. I've never made a George Floyd joke or a Charlie Kirk joke. Like that's just it's just a million other things that we could be laughing at. I don't know why that would have to be the thing.
So go ahead. You about to say my barrel? Go ahead.
Yeah, there's some things that we just collectively just understand and can hold space for. I can hold space for. Jake Paul can make a. There's no white. There's no black. There really is no white face. But Jake Paul can do blackface. Go ahead. It's America. It's Earth. You have free will. It might make some black people chuckle depending on what he does. But the question you just asked is about intent. And while we can't read everybody's heart, right? Jake Paul, we know if he did it, what his intent would be. It's not to be ha ha ha. It's not to be like general. This is y'all. I'm playing, man. I love y'all. Whatever. Drewski holds everybody. He puts belt to butt for everybody.
Yeah, everybody. All races.
Paul literally he said, "Well, if I do."
Yeah, you're right. No, that's a good point. Drewski has the playing field level. It's for everybody.
Whatever happens after that, big dog. Hey, even if some people laugh about it, because to your point, comedy will offend, it'll encourage, it'll inspire, it'll challenge you. It should make you think. I think Matt Rife is offensive, but he also, to me, I think he's funny. You know, but from what I've seen about him, his intent isn't to stir the pot just to make somebody mad. Because then, to me, you're not just doing comedy. Like you're trying to
There's a different intent. I got you.
Right.
Something else that has changed over the years is comedy has also changed. This is the major reason why we're having this conversation. Comedy today is not the same thing at what comedy used to be back in like the 90s and the early 2000s. When you think about like Comic View and just people doing specials and stuff like that. Comedy now, in the past, where the foundation for comedy used to be funny, just be funny. That was your foundation.
Yeah.
The foundation now is to be shocking. It's no longer based on being funny. It's like, what can I say to these people that will shock them? I'm an old school. I will always consider myself a traditional comic. I'm here to make you laugh. Like, I do talk about topics that are sometimes difficult to discuss, but I have been blessed with the gift of gab to still find a way to see humor in it. Like you said, we talk about all sorts of things on stage. Death, shit, there's so many topics that we talk about. Special needs children, so many things, and it's just like my old guy said, intent is the thing that means the most when it comes to it. I just had someone come to a show and then they felt the need to write me and they were like, hey, I just want to let you know that I was offended about your joke you have about kicking kids in a wheelchair. Come to find out, this person has a disabled child. I totally understand that. But what they don't know is I have dedicated like a third of my life to working with the special needs community. The job that I do every day consists of a child who's in a wheelchair. So it's like you're being offended, but I didn't tell that joke with any offense. Like it came from a place of love. That's my life. So I do understand people taking jokes and taking them the wrong way. But when you build your foundation on being offensive, I'm already looking at you sideways because you're not even trying to entertain and be funny. You're trying to go out there and be shocking. There's no need in you as a non-black person. Why are all your jokes about black people? I don't like people who stay joking about communities that they don't belong in. I'm not a man. If I sit up here and wrote 500 jokes about men, somebody would be like, she ain't got no girl jokes. It's the same.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
first, like we said before, like that's definitely what he's known for. Like, apparently, like I did a search real quick. I hadn't heard of him before the roast, that Tony Hinchcliffe, and everything he does is like you said for the shock value, and that's a really good point. So, and both of y'all talked about intent. So let me ask you this: what matters most then? Is it the intent? Because somebody can definitely say, "Oh man, I love black people. I'm there with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, my closest friend. So I'm not racist." Or does it matter more how it lands, like how the world receives it?
Just because you have a black friend, that doesn't mean you're not racist. You know, even the racists had their pick back in the day. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna say it's a lot of people.
I'm just saying,
if you have a black friend, that don't mean you're not racist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think both really matter. But nowadays, to Jackson's point, there is a reading of the room that has to happen. If Corey, Trey, Veronzo, and Pudgee did that the gay skit from In Living Color, and we took our shirts and we turned them out, and we were like just 3 snaps in the Z formation, hated it.
Around the world and back snap.
it wouldn't land the same anymore. And I was one back in the day. Me and my cousin, we be like, hey, well, what's up? You know, just whatever. But as a grown 40-year-old man at 26, I can't make that joke anymore. I can't do that. I don't even really want to, right? But also, times have changed, and if you don't evolve in this space, I think there is a growth that has to happen. Then it's like you're going to get more, even if you're funny, you'll still get a lot more feedback, right? And you're going to harm more people unintentionally, right? If your goal is to get on stage and be funny, you might bomb and harm a lot of people, or you might be really funny and make a lot of people upset also at the same time. But to me, I think intent matters and how it lands matters. You can be clever. Just work on your gift. Work on your craft. Like words, I love words. You know that. I love words. Knowing how to use them. Like I love how Trey talks about his life experiences and weaves comedy into it. A lot of people can actually do that. I know how like Pudgee is aware of his disability and uses it. Like Jazz works with these children, and therefore, to me, she can now talk about them. Gary Owens was married to a black woman, been around a lot of black people his entire life. There is a little more leeway.
His kids are black.
Right, his kids are black. You know what I mean? But if we don't know you for real, you come into a space and it's going to be extra sensitive because Kev is a black person. Therefore, we're going to treat it more like a black space. And you come with a joke about a dead man who the world respects and the dead man being in hell. Like the first part of your joke, I thought was funny. When you got there, I'm like, oh, you just used the moment. You hijacked this moment to your intent was to just be racist. That's my personal opinion. And beyond that, the words choice you used and the way you used it wasn't funny. Like clever, I'll agree.
Yeah,
clever, sure, but not funny.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So and I asked you this earlier, right? So this show, and let's say both, because I did do some research while we were talking. Trey, you was right. Like there is a community that is upset about the Charlie Kirk thing from Pete Davidson. So my question is this, right? And let me bring Lekisha in here for this. She's doing a lot of moving around. All right. So my question is, and I asked y'all this earlier. So in this format, there was the performer, there was the platform, there was the producers, there was the writers. Like, who should be held responsible? Like, who carries the weight for how this went, took place and what happened? Like, who does that fall on? Does it fall on Kevin Hart because it was his roast? Because he was laughing. Like, I wanted, when I looked at the clip, I wanted to see if he was laughing, and he was laughing. Does it fall on him? Does it fall on Netflix? Does it fall on whoever wrote it, or does it fall just on Tony Hinchcliffe because he was the one doing it?
Everybody.
I think it falls on.
Yeah, everybody. Now I would like to say it fall. I would like to say it fall on everybody, and I want Kevin to get like about 45% of it more, because being that it was his roast, I would have liked to see him. He has a lot of platforms where he put a lot of comedians on. I would have liked to see more of the people that he put on than the people that he had up there. You understand? Because if you have a platform where you say you put so many people on, I think those should be the one roasting you the most. And then, did you guys see that the body language of Regina and the ladies, they were uncomfortable up there?
Yeah.
When that was going on. So I want to say Kevin has the majority of it, and you're going to sprinkle that around all of it, because it could have been a little bit more tasteful. Even the host started off racist. You started off racist. Unless I'm just taking it the wrong way. Anybody else feel like that?
I'm
Came out
probably
the
a
gate.
bad person to ask. I think he set the tone, right? Which is what a host does, right? Like, I think he said, "Hey, this is what we're doing tonight. You can either keep watching or you can, stop." And I think he did that. Now, was it racist? I can see how it would be seen as racist. But I wasn't offended by Shane. Like, I actually like Shane a little bit.
Me too.
I think it's on Kevin. Kevin has way too much pull as Netflix. He's one of the biggest money makers. It's his name on there. He approved everybody on that show, knowing their background, their type of comedy. So at the end of the day, it's your name.
Yeah.
I don't care who else is attached to it. Your brand is right there. So yeah, it's on Kevin.
Because
and you know how quick they is to label all of us as so once you see, we can do that, like we did it with Kevin Hart. No, that's just it's just not all right. I mean, I think we feel the same way, hated it.
Go ahead. I feel like Jazz want to say something, but she not.
No, so as a comedian, it's weird because we are on both sides. It's like, yeah, I do have the freedom to say whatever. Like, I got the freedom to say whatever. I think it more so comes down to who you are as a person and what you're willing to sacrifice joke wise. What are you willing to do? And I was also thinking about, like, didn't Kevin Hart have some like topics that you just couldn't joke about, like his kids, or didn't it come out like it was just some stuff that he had
his kids,
limitations on?
Even the infidelity, he didn't want them to do too much with that.
So then I started looking at you like, how can you, as a Black person, and I'm not saying that one person speaks for us all, but how can you be like, nah, man, don't talk about me cheating on my wife, but racist jokes, hit me with them. Watermelon cones, I'm here for it. And it's just like, I don't understand the the processing of that, because I get it. Like, and Kevin Hart's in that point, he had to pass what majority of us even think we can do in comedy. So it's like it's always somebody above Kevin who he has to answer to. We may not know about those people, but it's still someone above Kevin who he has to answer to, and who were like, no, we're doing this. We're saying this. I'm pretty sure every person on this panel, if we had to have a roast and it was some rules and regulations, one of the things would be like, hey, tread lightly when it comes to black. Don't get up there doing too much. Because, like I said before, I don't know if you're coming from a place of hate or not. Like, I can kiki with you all day, but when it's coming from a you don't like me, you don't like people who look like me, I don't even want you in my space. I don't even want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, that's good, because I think there is a, for us folk, because we have a psychic link, there's an understanding. Like we can say a lot with saying a few words. And here's dude making joke, and Kevin go, all right, don't get your okay. Like, but because that would have gone over better than like, it's okay, just let it fly. But I'm not saying, because he wasn't even there, but he could have just warned him, all right, listen, if you need a police escort when you leave here, blame yourself. You know what I mean? Like, there was not even an acknowledgement of how very spicy that was. Because to me, yes, talk about someone's dead spouse is way bigger, but they were there and they laughed and they were okay with it. And I think they even used that, you know, Pete and I'm sure used that as well. But because, and this is no shade to the clear folk, but because there is a cognitive dissonance, because some of them are a little dense when it comes to certain things, and ignorant and arrogant, and don't want to admit there is a liberty they have at doing certain things. You know, like, we understand, and any human with a bigger heart understands, George Floyd is still sensitive. Like, because what happened to him is still shrugged a lot for a lot of people. And it was like we watched an actual execution live. Like, but to him, to the dude, to Tom, I keep getting his name.
Tony.
Whatever. Tony was like, so what? I'm over it. Y'all should be too. Let's laugh at it. Ha ha ha. And bro, nah. But when you're tone deaf, when you don't read the room, then that's what happens. And it's going to happen more, especially nowadays, because Kev allowed that, because Jake Paul thinks he's just so big and bad. He's gonna do blackface. We'll see. Like, they're going to get bolder. So we do, I think to Corey's point, have to decide how sensitive we're going to be. And even if you feel a thing, what your reaction is going to be to that, your response is to that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say this. When you said that, do you think that this probably was the test run to see how far they can go?
It's always a test run.
I was over here thinking, didn't they just publicize something that's Candace Owens dressed as like Tyrone the crackhead? Did nobody see the publication?
I did not see that.
I didn't see that one.
It was Candace Owens, is the black girl who talks like all the stuff about Charlie, but they like, it was something that came out and they have her like depicted as a crackhead. The worst picture that they could have used. Like, it just looks horrible. We are in a different space and time in media, and I don't think any of us are like fully prepared. Black people are always going to be the bottom of the barrel, the short end of the joke. Like, everybody. It was a couple months ago, it was a Chinese dude who came out about he told a joke about ICE, and he was like, if ICE was really trying to help, why are they not killing more black people?
Ooh.
That was his joke. And even in that, it's like, bro, we ain't doing nothing over here but trying to order a number 10 that take like 5 minutes to cook. Why? Like, nobody's going to their work feet mean hateful. Why?
Like,
yeah. So let me. All right. So that's crazy. I did not know that existed. That's a crazy joke that was told, and that
it gets worse. That's nothing. Like, that's, if you're not in the comedy space, I just performed at a show to where no one can record. You want to know why? Because they're saying whatever they want to in that room. And when I say whatever, talks of Nazis, slavery, inappropriate with children. They talk about whatever in this room. Media is taking a turn that I think as people we're not ready for it. Like there is no filter, and it's just like what's the humor in it? It's not based on being funny, like I said. It's just based on
Okay,
being
shock
shocking.
value. Yeah. So let me go back a little bit because that's big. I don't want us to get too far off course, but that was real good. But let me ask y'all a question because all of you guys get paid to perform. Um, Netflix calls you. I got a $2 million bag to be roasted, and this white guy who you know fraternize with gets to come up here and say a quick George Floyd joke, say a quick um whatever joke about somebody who, you know, a black person who's passed away, a racial joke. And honestly, like what's your stance on that?
I would do it.
Who's that at? Veronzo?
Yep, I would do it. But and I'm taking only what you said on face value. I would do it. But just know after he says that joke, there's going to be a response, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Would not it happen that you make the joke, there's a response, and then you come back? I mean, after you do your response, then they come back and say, "Well, you shouldn't have been up there,"
Well,
or it comes out, or it comes out.
You saying I'm making a joke, or I'm just the
No,
host?
no, you're the host, and you're aware of the joke ahead of time, and you're being offered this money. Like, are you gonna say, nah, you know, my morals, I'm not gonna do it. I don't need the 2 mil, or are you gonna be like, all right, give me the 2 mil?
Yeah, because again, like I can hold space for freedom of speech, but I'm also really clever with my own mouth. And I think Kevin Hart, Kevin, I think he could have really made a clever if he wasn't there. Obviously, his heart wasn't set that way. He could have cleverly responded in a way to let him know, you know, because if you can make a George Floyd joke, I can make a joke about if you get shot and if there's a drive-by at your house before you get home, you know, if you
kind of like what Cheryl Underwood did when Shane kept using those words that were close to nigga.
And as the host, fine, bet. Here we go. If I'm hosting, I'm gonna do what bro like. Hey, look, this is what's gonna happen. Blah blah blah. So don't be here, whatever. But know this. This is a warning to everyone because I'm still, you know, I still got to warn people. Cry loud and spare not. If there's a warning, whatever joke you make, we gonna laugh, like, ha 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 ha. But if you end up on a t-shirt after this, that's on you. That's it, period. Right? So let's, you know, keep it cute.
Careful.
Yeah.
So
I would want an opportunity to respond. I mean, everybody could say, you know, I do morals, and you know what? Morals matter a lot. But I would wonder, like why does it specifically have to be racist? Like that's just, I would just do my best to manipulate the contract out of specifically having to be racist, because it's just like it's going to turn into a bought and sold.
That,
you know,
good.
And that's the difference between like leaders and like leaders like Muhammad Ali. Like they couldn't be bought. It don't matter how much money you put on the table.
Right.
So they really and truly, they're only going to offer those opportunities to people they know who will accept them.
Right. Because Cat Williams said, you know why I said he was a no. Because I keep putting him in the ground, he keeps springing back up. Right. But it's like respectfully, it kind of shows because you went hard in your car. I can't believe he put that man in jail for life, not for weeks, blah, blah, blah. And now I'll let you know, go ahead, bring all the hard jokes, blah, 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 blah. Those aren't the same thing. So what happened in 6 years, Kev? You got more money.
Then the police officer got let out. He's out now.
Yes.
But as far as you said, going back to that 2 million, would I take it? I'm gonna have to do a Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna have to do a Dave Chappelle because Dave was like, and you know how I feel about Dave. I love me some Dave.
Yeah.
And Dave was like, he got to a point where he was like, are they laughing with me? Are they laughing at me? You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, I'm not. we already we already done been through enough.
Yeah.
Okay. It's certain things we can't do that everybody else can do. You know what I'm saying? That just like, for instance, getting off topic for just a smidget to make a point. If you look at the Epstein files and you look at what Bill Cosby did, what's the difference?
One's worse.
Epstein had
Epstein
kids.
way worse. Yeah.
Oh,
One's
I
Epstein
mean,
worse.
you
had
know,
kids.
but I mean, not
I feel
Epstein.
you. I
I
feel
didn't
you.
mean to say.
Kids.
Hold on, not Epstein, but the guy from Playboy, the Playboy
You
guy.
Hefner. You Hefner.
Hugh
Hugh
Hefner.
Hefner. Okay, if you look
Definitely.
at Hugh Hefner and Bill Cosby, what's the difference? The difference is they wait until Hugh was dead to start bringing up everything that he did. See, when we are the color that we are, they're gonna drag us to hell, and then a lot of more black people gonna jump on the bandwagon to drag us to hell also. But you got Hugh Hefner out there that did crazy stuff. You got Bob Barker, who we used to love to look at. The Wheel of Fortune, he did
That's
crazy
right.
stuff. Also, you have
Right.
all these white folks that does crazy things, and they can go buried, and nobody else will speak on it. They don't tarnish their reputation. They'll make a documentary quietly and release it, and then you'll hear about it. But for us, they'll drag it. So I wouldn't take the $2 million because we done been through enough. Okay, we done been through enough. I don't need you making no jokes like that. And like you, everybody said, it's a lot of things you could have joked on before you got to Floyd.
Yeah.
It's so much material out there that you can do before you get to anything like that. And I believe that, like I said before, Kevin should have brought some people that he put on out there.
Yeah. I want
Yeah,
to. I
who
want to hear
roast you
from.
better than people that know you?
I want to hear more from. I think I don't know if Kevin know all these people or not. I don't know, but I want to make sure I hear an answer from everybody, for that question. So, Jazz, do you have a response to that?
Honestly, I don't know if I would take the 2 million or not. That would literally be something I had to think on, because part of me would be like, well, take the 2 million, go up there, let them say what they got to say, and you finish it. And then part of me is like, don't even come at me disrespectful with any amount of money. It doesn't matter. Like, don't disrespect me. I got a special coming out on Tubi. Sometimes it probably ain't worth no 2 million, but it's definitely gonna
It
be.
might be.
You
Come
know what?
on.
You
Five.
know what? It's gonna be worth a watch, and I didn't have to sell my soul or do nothing weird with it.
Yeah.
As a comedian, I can go to sleep at night and not be like, "Oh man, did I do something wrong? Did I just make up?" No, I sleep very good at night, knowing that like I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of even the jokes I make, and just all of us are comedians and things like that. We've all had to sit down and write. I don't know what possesses people to sit down and be like, black man dead, black man was murdered, black man in hell. And it's just like, what was your thought process on that? Like it didn't seem like it was coming from a place of being funny or anything. So as far as the 2 million goes, I can't give you a yes or no. If I get to say something back, if I get to be witty after it, yeah, let me take the money. But if they're like, nah, I
Just sit
I
there
don't
and
see
take that.
myself being cool with that, bro. When I say being black means so much to me, I was black before I was a girl. I was black before I was 6 feet tall. I'm so serious.
Yeah.
God, they knew I was gonna be black before I was anything else. Being black is one of the greatest gifts I think I have. Even when it comes to being on that stage, ain't nobody touching me. I mean that in the most respectful way. Ain't nobody touching me. Like my lifestyle, everything that I'm able to do, it's because I'm black magic, baby. Black
Yeah.
magic. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. I wouldn't want to do anything else, even as far as my joke goes. I try to shed light on like black people and white people. We do live two different lives. When I talk about white people, it's never from a place of I don't think you deserve to live. I don't
Right.
think you deserve to be here.
Mm.
Yep. Intent and motive.
Pudgee?
Oh, I already had said it. I was like, I just, I know I have to go like Muhammad Ali
Oh
because
yeah,
I
you
know
did.
that he sacrificed all his money and everything just to stand for something. So at the end of the day, man, if you get an offer for 2 million, you can get an offer for 4. You'll get famous off of declining it.
Mm. What about Trey?
Yeah, I wouldn't take it. And it has nothing to do with even having a chance with rebuttal, because Kevin Hart had rebuttals for everybody on that dais, but he sat there and laughed while everybody said all that disrespectful stuff.
Right.
So to you paying me $2 million and I got to sit there and allow that and laugh at it, nah, I can't go in and look at my pastor and be okay with that. I can't look in the mirror and be okay with that. I can't look at the youth that I work with and be okay with letting somebody disrespect life like that, the way they look. So yeah, I just morally couldn't accept it. But like Pudgee said, if somebody offering you that money, somebody else is offering you that same amount of money for something else.
So let me so my and we got to go because we ain't supposed to be this long. But I do, it does make me wonder, like when do we stop putting limits on comedy, right? Like, because like y'all expressed earlier, it used to be funny to do men in film. It used to be funny to do um whatever that stuff was before, like those what's now deemed as offensive, right? Like, as the years continue, as times continue to change, more people are calling things out as not funny,
True,
or offensive. So when does it stop?
true
Or does
comedy doesn't come from a place of hate.
Mm.
That's it. If you're trying to make them laugh, you're trying to make them laugh. If you're trying to be racist, that's not the same thing.
but at the same token, I'm like, in the general scheme of things, like men on film, like they weren't homophobic, but it
Right.
was
That wasn't
funny,
coming from a place of malice.
right? But it's still offensive now.
It's
So I'm
only
saying,
offensive.
like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna
no,
say
go
it's
ahead.
only
Not
offensive
offensive.
now is because that right there, people are just sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Being sensitive to it. You know what I'm saying? Now you gotta look at what they're changing. It don't even make sense no more about what they're changing, especially when you go to the pronouns. It just really don't make sense. The world don't make sense like it used to. When it used to be nice and simple, you was able to make all those crazy jokes and everybody knew that you wasn't trying to hurt nobody. Now people are putting action behind their words. You
Yeah.
know, when you go out in the real world, they're saying those things and they're actually acting like trying to hurt somebody. Back in the days, you could call somebody a faggot or whatever, and you wasn't trying to hurt them. You were just letting them know, oh, that's my little faggot cousin or whatever. Like thing, you can't say that nowadays.
Can you stop saying that?
Oh,
No,
I
look, she
got
said
I
you
gotta
can't say it
find my
nowadays.
mute button.
Man, you all of that words you can't say just all comes
see
from
all
them
the
can't
stuff
say
you
the
can't
N word.
say.
They can't say the N word, so now they got to think of all these other words we can't say because
But
they want
also,
equivalency.
I think like we know way more about people. Like when Comic View on BET coming at you 6 nights a week, get your laugh on.
Hey,
Um,
everybody get your laugh
when I was
on.
coming on, we didn't really have social media. We didn't know everyone's life. We didn't know
Right.
everyone's art. We didn't know what they post. We didn't hear them. Some of our favorite country singers see them making a racist comment in a video coming out of a restaurant. Like we didn't know. Like so, we just embraced all of it because of what it was. It made us laugh. It was funny. Because to Pudgee's point, like you can not come from a place of hate and still offend people with your comedy. And I think that's okay because I think as a non-comic who absorbs comedy, y'all and us as orators, all of us have a responsibility, even more so. When you decide to be a comic, to do any art,
Y'all always come on how y'all want.
when when you decide to be a comic or perform for people, or even Trey when he shares his life story and his testimony and weaves comedy in it, when you are using your words to manipulate or malinger or move a people to whatever, whether you want to or not, you have a responsibility. Like you just do. A rapper has a responsibility. You put on music, someone is going to be moved, influenced, inspired, or absolutely hate themselves or love themselves because of what you said. So now that the world is more sensitive, if your heart's in the right place, you can still make, to me, similar jokes because your
But
heart
you,
is in the right
yeah,
place.
but you
But
but
going
but
to
you can still make mistakes. Like, you can still have your heart in the right place. You can still have the best of intents and
yes,
say something that is going to offend somebody and risk cancellation. So the question again that I'm asking is, when will it be? And I understand that this conversation is about racism, right? And I do also know there are some people who were offended by the joke, thought it was racist, some people who did not. So like at what time, at what point are you like, or are we as a culture of comedy, are we like, okay, I'm just gonna say it, it's funny? Or is it always going to be a continual, I can't say this now, I can't say that now, I can't do this now, I can't talk about these people now, I can't like.
I think there is a what's the word I'm looking for? A talent in being able to know when and where to say stuff. In certain rooms, I can joke about certain topics. In certain rooms, those same jokes will not fly. When will it
Agreed.
end? I don't feel like it's ever gonna come to an end. I feel like this is just the beginning of it getting worse. Think about the younger generation coming up. They're gonna be the ones who are gonna be leading council culture in a little bit, and they already can't handle
They the sensitive ones, yeah.
they already can't handle sounds. They get overstimulated with wind. So I know like it's gonna be a hard time with them. But as far as comedy goes,
We can hear you.
everything always evolves. Everything, nothing stays the same due to time, like nothing. Art, media, and comedy falls under art. Comedy is an art form. Like someone just said, Veronzo, I don't want to say it name. What's your name, Sweets?
It's Veronzo.
Veronzo. As my sweetheart just said, like, it is a responsibility that comes back on you as the entertainer to know what you can say and when you can say it, and amongst who. If all that stuff would have happened at the mothership, if the whole roast would have happened at the mothership, nobody would have said anything. Because that place that's the environment for it. Nobody would have said anything. There's a reason now why people cannot have phones at comedy shows. It's not because they don't want their material to get leaked and stuff like that. Like, bro, you're not finna get me counseled because everybody outside this room doesn't know the context on which this joke was told. Yes, I'm talking about kicking kids. What's the rest of the joke about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? I just don't think people get it where they separate it. Because even though, like you said, you can say something and you don't mean no harm. Just like she said about kicking kids. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the content behind it. But people don't know how to separate entertainment from reality. And you can look at a movie with somebody kicking a child, you know what I'm saying, and laugh. Be like, okay, the setup was funny, but then I go and tell it on stage, and now you offended. But you just saw, something about Mary had a lot going on in that movie, and you thought that was funny, but now not. So it's the reality of people separating. What we do, because we just going up there to have a good time and just to be silly and just say some crazy thing that we've been thinking of. And a lot of time for me, when I get on stage, it's just pretty much to entertain. It's just because I have a lot of friends in my head and we tell jokes to each other and I got to get it out. But it's not to hurt anybody's feelings. You understand what I'm saying? It's just to express my time and really interact with grown people. And then after I finish, I go on in the darkness. That's all it's for.
Take your voices with you too, sis. Take them with you.
Yo, Corey, real quick. I think I hear your heart, and I wish it was a bit better. But one thing I think what I love about what y'all do is that you take truth, and the way you tell truth, whether it's inflated or just the truth, it's the way you deliver it is funny. Like you take reality and you color it. Right. The problem becomes when the reality we all experience is just getting darker. So it takes more color to make darker things brighter. Like the world's getting worse. So it's going to be, you need to be more clever. You need to be better. You might need to do what I like what Trey does. Like you might need to do more of a story type of comedy, but it's like we need comics. But we also got to understand some of our collective sensitivity that we've all gotten more sensitive as well because we know too much now. Like we know everybody, but the world's getting worse. So it's just going to be harder for certain things to keep landing the same way. But I believe there will always be a need for laughter. It is medicine for the soul. And whether you are a praying person or not, if God made you and God gave you a gift with words, that same wisdom, you can make people laugh and not be racist, evil, and vulgar all the time. That's it. Yeah.
And Jazz, I would also like to say I have kicked somebody in the wheelchair before. I have. I
Let
want
me
you to know that.
whoa. Okay. No incrimination. That is very illegal.
When she said that, that took my soul. I was like, oh my God, me too.
So
We need to
all
do a
right,
show together.
No, hold on, Corey. Would you take the $2 million? You're a director. You're a writer. You're
He
everything.
done took it to me. What you talking about?
I'm so conflicted by it, to be completely honest, because my mind does $2 million. How many people can I help with $2 million? You know, as a writer, as a producer, as a director, I take $2 million and I'm helping 10 black people, and my sacrifice is a black joke, you know, a racist joke. So, you know, it's like, because I know me, you know, like I know I'm not a person who's gonna get money and just pocket it and whatever. Like I'm gonna get the bag and I'm gonna say, all right, look, we about to do this other production. Jazz, I'm gonna get you to do this. I'm gonna pay you 100,000. Keisha, I'm gonna get you to do this. I'm gonna pay you 100,000. Pudgee, you know, Veronzo, Trey. Like I know that's
So
like I
you
know
gonna
that's
change the
exactly.
whole black
He need
community with gas
100,000
money.
though.
Well, it's not even
Ain't
not
that.
that, but I think
$2
I'm not
million
gonna
is
change.
gas money today.
That's the gas
My
money.
point,
You
the
ain't
point
got
I'm making is it might be gas money, but it's still $100,000 spread out to a few people is gonna change some lives at one time. So so you know I can't for me I can't like ignore that. Now I can't ignore the offense, right? And who it might hurt, who those statements may hurt. But I feel like it's going to be more outrage and them being pissed, like pistivity, than actually setting us back. So that's kind of where I would kind of get a little hung up at in that scenario.
very good.
So kind of like Jazz said, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. But yeah, man, we gotta go. Yeah, I gotta cook dinner.
All
But
right.
I
Good
thank
to see
y'all
all y'all too.
so much, man. Thank
Dinner.
y'all for sharing your perspectives. We got to do this again. I think like just having these conversations kind of helps too, because one thing I love about comedians, like y'all know, I love working with comedians. It's one of my lifelong loves and passions. But I do feel like you guys do, like Ronzo said, you create a space where there's laughter, where you color in the dark spaces, and is I think it's so needed for people who are going through the day-to-day stuff. So for me as a person, I appreciate each and every one of y'all, not just for coming here, but just for what you do and what you've decided to do with your lives. So thank y'all so much. This has been No Onions, and we probably gonna redo this later. But y'all be blessed. Y'all take care.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
Thank
All
you.
right.
later, guys.
See y'all
Peace. All
later.
right, guys.
We only came because you did our